The camera descends through the dense, glittering skyline of New San Francisco. The upper towers shimmering with neon advertisements, augmented reality overlays, promising luxuries most citizens will never touch. Below, the city sprawls like a living organism. Its lower tiers teeming with a chaos both vibrant and desperate. Skyways weave between megastructures, carrying drones and automated cabs that dart between billboards glowing in English and Mandarin and other languages. Further down, into the shadows of the Undercity, the roar of engines and the hum of commerce reveal a world less pristine, raw, electric, alive. As the camera swoops through Zone 3's bustling open-air market, its narrow pathways packed with vendors hawking everything from counterfeit cyberware to steaming bowls of synth noodles. A pack of sleek-looking drones whiz by overhead, a nearby crowd cheering and betting on the race contestants weaving their drones between stalls. Nearby, a neon sign flickering with a hollow projection of a fortune teller beckoning passerbys to learn your future. While inside, a figure weaves illusions for naive clientele. In the distance, you can even see an angry vendor briefly running and shaking his fist, chasing after a rogue drone as it zips away with stolen scrap tech. The pulse of the city carries on, rhythm of survival and ambition, promising both opportunity and danger to those bold enough to grasp it. What do we find our crew doing on a Tuesday morning?
You can hear kind of Patty before you even see her. You hear pieces moving around. You hear shuffling and moving as it kind of focuses in from darkness, focusing on a table in the base, even in this morning time. And you can see she's got her weapon fully taken apart. She's cleaning each of the pieces. She's checking the magazine. She's making sure all of the different parts of her weapons are clean and in top shape. She's got her armor aligned off to the side. You can see it's laid out perfectly flat, so you could see every bit of it. You can see that in this moment, she's making sure everything's ready, and you can see she's got the keys to the car set off to the side. So she's very much probably a little overboard prep in this moment, but she's going to be ready regardless. And so as she's kind of working, she kind of takes a second, stretches. Hey, Krill, you up?
Krill slides out from underneath the car. Chad Dalton for this. Yeah, no, just been fine-tuning, working on what we need.
Okay.
Have you seen number 2? I sent her out a while ago to go get a little drone flies in with scrap in its hand. How the hell did you get? You know what? Not even gonna ask. Not even gonna ask. Throw it in the pile with the rest of the scrap. Looks like it's good to go. Fixed an oil leak in there. I had to use some of the manuals Dalton left around to try and figure it out, but it wasn't too difficult for me. And I fixed the headlights and I reinforced them. It's not just glass anymore. Like, this is...
It'll take a couple of hits before it breaks.
This is 3-inch thick polyethylene crystalline glass-like systems. Yes, you can't crack them. If you actually somehow puncture them, they just poof. It'll just shatter, but it'll take a lot to fucking get there. How about keep the lights intact this time? That's the number one way to get a fucking cop to pull you over. Cool? Capiche? Awesome.
Patty doesn't say
capiche.
Patty doesn't say anything in that moment, but you can kind of follow the camera as she's turning her eyes, presumably either towards Troy as he's alive or his body as he's on the net in this moment. Kind of that focuses in on Troy in this moment.
some reason I was underassuming I was still with Sabine, but I just realized.
Nope, never mind. Ignore me. I'm stupid. I forgot Sabine existed.
Yeah, so technically Troy's not here.
Yep. Cool. So imagine instead the camera shifts as she goes to look where Troy would be, and then it kind of just fades over to Troy as he's sitting in the hotel.
Actually, we see Troy is approaching the hotel after another morning out of getting breakfast for Sabine. With, you know, a little cardboard thing of coffee and orange juice in one hand and a bag of fast food breakfast in the other hand as he types in the code and re-enters the hotel room with Sabine.
Reaches over and grabs the cup of coffee. You know, as much as I don't enjoy being cooped up here, I will miss this. And she just gestures between back and forth between you and her.
I believe you're referring to being personally served.
You know, it's a nice break. It's a nice break. Although I would have preferred this break to be somewhere else than here. But yes, it's certainly been a change of pace, as it were.
Well, if it makes you feel better, neither am I. I'm neither too thrilled about this position either.
Well, then, and she lifts her coffee cup to you. She goes, then, to getting the fuck out of here.
Hopefully we'll be able to see you returned home safely sometime later today.
Camera cuts back to the base.
You can see Patty's got her weapon put all back together, and she's got it holstered and makes sure everything else. And so at this point, she's kind of just sitting there, just for a moment, and she's kind of just passing the time. She knows. So in the morning, she opens up the codex, light flashes, and you can see it goes to a picture of Karen, and it shows probably like the worst picture they have of Karen caught in the wrong moment where she like purposely hit it, and then it's just like probably her with her face like really up with the nostrils visible. And Patty just sends a message, "You up?"
With that, the camera pops in through the wall of Karen's bathroom. Right about hip level, as you see her codex kind of on the counter. As red drops are falling onto the countertop. First one or two, and then a few more. And then, as the camera moves back and up a bit, you see that Karen is applying red hair dye to her hair. And she glances down and bumps the phone, or codex, and says, "Reply with a message. Patty. Be there in 20. Keeps washing her hair, or putting more of the red in her hair, and as she continues to rub it, you kind of notice that it's also less hair that is up there as well. And as the camera pulls up and into the corner, there's piles of yellow hair around Karen's feet as she turns to go into the kitchen and starts making herself some breakfast. Camera pulls out of the room.
Camera fades back in to the base as Patty's just, all right, well, I'm gonna grab something to eat. You want anything, Krill?
I am experiencing prolonged toxins in my system from last night. So, I'm going to avoid eating for now. I will get back to you on. Is there
No
anything
problem.
else you need me to do? Got you fresh ammunition. I fixed up the car. Snips is out of commission still, so we don't have any mobile turret or anything like that. Gonna be okay on the mission. Have the drones out, but I'm gonna be here.
I'm good. Just I'll take the drones and they can fly off and do what they need to.
Okay.
I'm assuming I'm probably going to be Aaron's escort in this one.
Well, I don't know how to drive.
Yep. And I don't think having the sex bot go with our business meeting is exactly a good idea.
No, and you know what? That is actually. Try and talk to Troy. He actually stays in the default mode, which makes him very identifiable as a sex bot. I'm not sure if he's aware of all that presents with him. So, I'm gonna see if he's interested in changing the exterior model. Till then, though, yeah, you are right. Probably sending her out with a sex bot. Not the best idea.
Yeah.
Even if he is some of the most advanced tech in the fucking.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for some situations, but isn't good for all of them. So being able to change his shit would be pretty nice, at least.
Plus, he's becoming more of his own. Maybe he'd like to decide what he looks like instead of just.
Hey, look. I got tits now, so, change your shit. So.
Again, let's see what he feels like.
Ew. All right.
Okay, if you don't need me for anything else, then I am going to just looking at half the place, missing its wall panels. Still need more fixtures for plumbing. I'm probably going to just make us some guns so that we can make some money. And you see some pain on her face.
Don't overwork yourself. We're probably gonna need you for the drones in case something happens.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take a couple laps, just get some of this energy out so I can be ready for dropping Karen off. I'll see you then.
Yeah, do what you do. Get the car out of here so I can start working. The garage would be great. It's taking up space between it and the containers. I wish Troy was back. There's a lot of heavy shit I can't move.
Do you need me to move?
Can you move an entire motorcycle? 4 of them to be exact?
They have wheels?
Need them mounted.
Oh, I need a lift.
Yeah. Exactly.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna go take a couple laps. See you in 20. Karen's on her way.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
She just kind of slips on the jacket, just starts taking a lap around the neighborhood, and kind of the camera pulls back from her a little bit as she's just kind of moving through the hustle and bustle of the morning, as a couple people just passing by, and you can hear the busy airway traffic as always. Its cars are just flying high above, and you can see the drones moving back and forth with 2 or 3 birds that appear, and it's just this minor cacophony of noise as she's just kind of listening and taking it all in. No music this time, just hearing it as she's just kind of steeling herself and kind of just trying to pick up the pace a little bit just to get some of the pre-mission energy out.
So, what does Karen do when she arrives to the base?
Karen first walks in through the front door passing by, I'm guessing another crowd of yuppies. Really?
Too early.
Too early. Okay. Can still smell the patchouli. Karen heads in. And looks around, and I'm assuming sees Krill's feet sticking out from under the car.
No, Krill's pretty much done there now. She's back in the lab, opening up another crate to fill with more rifles of the same stock and variety we've sold before.
Okay. Oh, good. You're awake. I have a request.
She immediately drops what she's doing. Hi! Request, you say?
And that's when Krill notices the very short and very red hair that Karen now has.
You know what, I'm just gonna try here. Girl, I know you're always hot, but like now you literally make yourself looking like fire here.
I needed a change.
Power to ya. What can I do for you?
I need a little more change for later to... Not a whole lot. Figure you could throw something together in a little bit. Just a little something I could throw on, you know, little cheeknet, maybe a little bit of a forehead shift. Doesn't take much. I can shift most other things. I have these shoes. They work great. They make me about 2 inches taller. They don't look like they have any height to them. Helps a little bit.
Suddenly your face is appeared in the hologram, and just this like anime style like visor appears over it. It's like, this could completely like cover up your identity.
Actually, how heavy and how much does it obscure my sight?
None, because that's all a one-way glass, and it actually allowed me to give you augmented reality without having to plug you in. As heaviness goes, it should wrap around the whole head, so it honestly won't feel too bad.
I'm gonna say probably no. Too easy to have it
Okay.
removed and then it doesn't do anything.
Okay, the next one, it looks like you're wearing a choker, but then as she snaps her fingers, your face, like a projection quickly shows up and your face changes. If a camera sees you as well, it will just completely distort your face on it entirely. And anyone looking at you, not super close, will see a slightly altered face. Won't be able to change eye or mouth locations, but anywhere that isn't moving on the regular should be able to be altered easily enough.
How easy is that to disable remotely?
If someone's disabling stuff like an EMP or something, yeah, definitely going to get taken out. But it's just going to have its own centralized battery. So honestly, unless they rip it off your neck or EMP the room, it'll work.
Again,
If the room's really dark, it
very
might be
easy
obvious.
to remove and then it doesn't do anything. I think probably what would work best is something I can apply to my face. You can make silicone things, right? I'm assuming.
I make circuit boards. I have never done what you are asking, a silicone putty mask. Oh boy. We can try. I'm not an artist. I design many things. I could genetically design you a better face. Hand sculpting it, I'm not sure how well I'm gonna do there.
We have this lovely table that will make anything. You have a lovely sculpture of my face. Tweak it a bit. Apply a silicone mask. Have the table build it.
Okay.
I've applied them
let's
enough
try.
before. I have the items as long as I have the thing to put on my face.
Okay. Just for exact accuracies, I'm just going to ask you to sit on the table for 1 second as it gets a full 360 scan.
Into.
Okay. Krill is trying not to look at her ass the moment she sits on the table. Professional. The arms quickly spin around, get a full scan. Thank you, that's what I needed. And you quickly start seeing a hexagonal frame of your head start being constructed out of cheap scrap metal as the base.
I'm gonna need you to, whatever roles end up being required for this craft, to do so with a disadvantage.
Well, making the head should be fine, but yeah, no, the silicone mask itself, yes.
Once the parts that you're inexperienced with start to occur, in combination with Karen's ass, I'm gonna need disadvantaged rolls.
Okay, so it's a +3 on just the head sculpt.
Alright.
Alone. So that one's doing okay. Krill quickly goes and grabs a wad of silicone from her scrap. Okay. I do have some pigment. I never use it, but I have some pigment.
Can't the table do this?
Yes, I just need to make sure I give the right things. So, white, some yellow, some red, some purple. Always a little bit of green undertone to flesh. Purple covers any blue aspect. Okay. And so she basically opens up all these little pigment containers, leaves it on the table, and puts a teal-colored slab of silicone as it starts to heat it. And then the needles start applying the pigment slowly to get the exact color. This is enough that the computer can do, but everything past this is going to be Krill's hand. And she just kind of holds this glob and is like, yeah, okay, that's you. Yeah. Slaps it on the table. This feels more like cooking than baking. And I'm used to the science. This feels more like the art, but okay. Table. You require a millimeter expansion of the face in silicone mesh, altering these details to millimeter 0.5 and 2.5 here. Okie dokie. Rolling with disadvantage. That is a +2 max.
It's a little weird and bulbous, Karen, what you're seeing formed here, but it'll fit. You'll have to glue it down to your face. I think Karen is able to work with these pieces. I don't think this is the first time that Karen has applied a prosthetic.
Highly doubtful.
So if Karen has to trim and cut, then I think that you're capable of doing your own rolls off of whatever Krill produces here. It doesn't seem too tragic of a result, so you won't be working off a disadvantaged roll when you go to do that work. But yeah, it's definitely not going to be purpose fit right off the table.
I can try again.
If you want to make another one, I wouldn't say no, but I think this one will work.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh.
Because it's not like I won't have an opportunity to use it again. So if you want to
Okay.
keep playing with this is something would be useful to have.
The table's arm just comes up behind and makes a solid cut all the way to the top of the head, but she just pulls off the silicone. My understanding is you need to cut this up because this would suffocate you.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
And taking the that's creepy. It's uncanny valley because it's almost you. It's like
The best
She
part
just-
of playing with these.
she just rolls up another glove of it and slaps it on the head. Okay, let's try.
As this is occurring, Patty, are you anywhere close to walking?
She'd be coming back at this point, enough for them to kind of figure that out. The door opens up and she walks inside. She's like, "All right, I'm back. You here, Karen?"
There are 3 Karens. There are 2 not Karen faces and a Karen face in the room with you.
Patty takes a moment as she kind of like looks. She first looks for the blonde. She doesn't see it, and then she's like, "What the fuck? Oh, decided to change it up."
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, I actually I'm a little bit more prouder of this one. We got a +4 total for this one.
Okay. Oh. All right.
Are we
Looking better.
trying to turn Troy into a Karen bot here?
I learned fast. No! Oh God, no! Don't! I'm imagining it. I don't like to imagine this.
Hey, look, I'm not judging if Karen does what else she does on her own time.
Honestly, I've been there. Sorry. Wow, distracting. No, I just needed to, mix it up in my look for one, and then while I'm at it, I need to not look like me for a minute.
So
Don't
you
mind
need-
him knowing after the fact, but at a
need to-
glance, I don't want to be noticeable.
You need to be Miss Stacy Jackson instead of Karen.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
Krill just rolling the ball throws a 3rd one on there, just kind of sheepishly smiling as it starts crafting, and it looks nothing like Karen. It just starts looking like the blob's face, but like on purpose. This thing's silly.
You're having too much fun with that.
Blame her.
I don't
She
know if
showed me a new
throw that
thing.
one out yet. Ha! Don't throw that one out yet.
Melted face can stay. Okay. And I'm all out of silicone. Oh, I got a tiny bit. Oh, wait. Makes a little ball. A little cylinder.
Okay.
Tiny.
All right. At least you're embracing humanity.
Oh shit, that's one of the most human things to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Well done. You're one of us.
I don't like that.
One of us.
Well,
she like she waits
Haha,
for
you're
number 1 to
human.
fly. Get butt. No, I am crab.
But have you considered that humans evolved from crabs? But I swear I've heard it on some back end talking about humans and their evolution. We came from crabs, obviously. Everything comes from crabs.
Everything tries to evolve into crabs unless they're crabs in which they're trying to evolve into different types of crustaceans.
I've heard that argument before, but we all know that everything evolves from crabs. It's not the other way around. That's very much a propagandistic line that they put in order to push that.
Okay, I know parody sites. Bought that horrible conspiracy site that you listen to. I can't believe you still take it serious though.
It's more serious than the Petersonian Institute and their bullshit evolving into crabs.
Nope, you're doing this to fuck with me. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away and not grab the rifle next to me. I'm going to walk away. You two talk about the game plan. I'm going to just nod. Bye. As Krill walks into the garage to go work on shit instead of playing into Patty's bullshit.
As Krill walks away, Patty will turn to Karen. It's like, I wasn't bullshitting. That's genuine. Everything evolves from crabs.
Crabs is bugs.
Maybe. But anyways, game plan. I'll be driving the car, dropping you off at the front, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're bringing your arsenal, I'm assuming, just in case.
Yeah. Keep the rifle in the back. Got my guns on me. I'll go with the blackjack at this time. So we can make it look a little professional if that comes to it. Do you want me to go inside with you or just stay outside?
Since you've been here before, no.
Okay.
And it would be great if you could have, like, your glasses and maybe a hat on, something to help cover even just a bit more, just to, you know, maybe a hoodie.
Well, I've got the black jacket. It's different style. I can.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just as long as they can't see you super easy.
Yeah. Just. I've got another pair. She just pulled out another pair of sunglasses. So, yeah, we'll be good on that end. But
they're somehow even bigger. Okay.
well, I got the bigger ones in case the smaller one breaks. You know how it goes. You got to have an extra bigger pair on the side. But okay. So I'll be waiting outside in the car. Is there anything? Are you gonna have the open as you're moving, or is it going to just the responding in case of emergency kind of thing?
I will keep it on as long as it is feasible, but I might need to turn it off at some point.
Gotcha. Do we want Krill to put one of those mini drones on you so we can get a view from without the direct feed from your own lines? Those little tiny little flyers that she had? Or do we want to have Troy just hopping between networks and just trying to follow you there? Although that might be a little more difficult since they have people on right now.
People in the building, yeah. We could bring one along. How big are they again? Like yay big?
Hey Krill, how big are the mini drones?
What?
The mini drones. How big?
Eyeball.
Eyeball. Thanks. Could have Troy hopping into the mini drone, and then if he needs to hop somewhere else, he could just do a quick jump.
Where would this mini drone be hanging out on me?
Or do you want hanging?
That's what I'm kind of getting at.
Hearing? Just
Girl just steps back in again. All right, all right. What? Do you want a hairpin you want an earring? Do you want a necklace piece?
A necklace would be great. Thank you.
Am I missing a joke here?
It's just so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. I'm dying. Just fucking,
Yeah.
You've got these fucking spy drones the size of an eyeball, and Patty's like, earring? And just in the mental image of this fucking obvious camera bot just dangling from fucking Karen's ear as she walks into this fucking place trying to do it undercover is just killing me.
I know.
It was such a fucking stupid response. I loved it.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought so. I was just making sure.
Truman Show if it was ran by idiots.
All right. Tricks. And number 3 flies past Karen's shoulder because admittedly she really likes Karen, so she always is floating around her some way or another. Can I take one of the eyeballs? Thank you. And just gently taking its like outer shell off. Takes just the camera bot out of it, leaving its little like flying apertures and all that off. Not needed, right?
Camera.
Yep. Karen. And she just quickly draws up like a little HUD. Here's like 30 styles of necklaces I've just found online immediately that I can print here for you. I've got gold for electronics back there. I'm willing to temporarily donate it to this necklace for the time being.
What did you name that one? Is it like B/42 or something?
No, the drones are just extensions of tricks.
Okay.
Like the eyeballs, yeah.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, I like that. What's the term? The long pointy one. I mean the long pointy one.
It's like crystalline pendant. Okay. Boop. It'll just quickly alters the design to make room for the camera. Specifically beneath a very thin layer of colored glass to match the rest of it. Grabs a hunk of gold that she's very sheepishly putting on the table. That shit's her insulator and it's expensive. No, it's mostly just going to be plating, so nobody do the teeth test on it, but, you know, it will look shiny. Okay. She sets the table to work as it starts building around the camera. Looks Patty and Karen. Anything else I can do and set up for you?
It's all going to be on Karen, so it's whichever she needs, so.
The only thing that might be useful is for a means for Gavin to contact us discreetly.
Burner Codex?
Burner Codex.
Not a problem. I've literally got the scrap here for it. As it was a burner codex we did not use and just broken instead. Here we go. Oh, actually, no, this was Patty's old one. Either way.
I'm glad to getting some use.
I'm gonna make it look more standardized than a krill textile one, though. Let's not make it that fucking obvious.
Oh, spy beards.
And there is now just a rectangle sitting on the table while the necklace is getting made. There's your burner.
So we've got the burner set up. We've got your whole switch up ready. Do we want to talk to Sabine one quick minute before we get this show on the road, just to see if there's anything else we need as a preface.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'll be in the car. Tell me when you're ready.
Oh, you don't want to be here for the phone call?
Oh, you're just gonna go for a phone call? I thought we might go for in person just to check
Oh,
on.
stop by.
What do you want to do? You want to just call him?
We'll just call.
Okay.
Are you gonna do that?
Oh, okay, sure. Puts on the codex. Puts it on speaker. There you go. Calling Troy. Just with a quick message. Gonna talk to Sabine. Can he do speaker? Have we checked that? She doesn't have a codex.
Troy, do speaker?
Well, I'm full of great ideas tonight.
I'm thinking about that actually. How?
Phil just looks to Karen. You're just trying to torture her. You're just trying to torture her.
He doesn't have a codex. We purposely kept her off one.
Theoretically, Troy,
I'm thinking. Yeah, I know.
you could repeat what is being said to you, and then you could transmit what has been said back to you.
Not out of the realm of possibility that Troy could like route at least his audio receptors through, but he can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you would just
He
have
has
to.
to.
You just have to repeat and repeat. Like you'd just be a repeater.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I feel like he could intake audio, but I don't think he could export audio.
Yeah, that's the repeater.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just imagining. Oh, okay.
Plays the speaker.
It was an honest question asked today's session.
She wanted to call. If we meet in person, it's less weird.
Call.
I think she's just fucking with you.
As both. Yeah. Patty opens up the comms to Troy and says, "We're just gonna need you to be a relay between Karen and Sabine. Sorry."
There's a brief pause as Troy, before Troy responds. He states, "In hindsight, it probably would have been best to have left a burner with us."
I don't even trust a burner.
Troy looks over to Sabine and states, "This next interaction may be a little bit awkward. However, our compatriots would like to contact us. And unfortunately, I am the only means right now exists between you and them, meaning I will have to repeat everything they say. So, my apologies if this becomes awkward."
Okay.
You get a message back to from Troy. "I am prepared to facilitate the conversation."
You're up, Karen.
Oh, just message? Oh, okay. We're about to run to the meeting. Is there anything you've thought of that might be helpful for us?
We're about to run to the meeting. Anything you thought of that might be helpful to us?
No.
You guys do hear her, by the way.
Okay. Do you need anything?
Do you need anything?
I mean, not this minute, but lunch is coming up. I mean, it's a 1:15 meeting, so, I'd like to eat at some point again. But yeah.
Okay. We'll
Okay.
drop off some food.
We'll drop off some food.
What would you like?
What would you like?
Food.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Oh,
I get. Yeah. Do we end the call there?
yeah, the call's over. Oh. Is there anything last minute then you need, Karen, before we get this moving? Or
Just to pick up some food and drop it off outside the door.
all right. I mean, the problem of actually having a jacket to switch. There you go. All right. All right. Krill, we're heading out. About to do the thing we need to do. I'd recommend not trying to contact us too much while we're doing this, okay?
Okay, don't blow up.
Good
Fair.
advice.
Fair.
I'll try not to do the same. She says, continuing to work with firearms.
All right, on the way out, we let's stop by just something nearby where the
Whatever
hideout is.
the spot on the way. Just
a
let's-
random place.
pulls the car on, pulls out, just starts heading to the food. I'm gonna make a roll, Kai, because do mediocre +1, so it's kind of just at this point, Addie isn't as much nervous about driving because she's done this often enough that she's kind of getting used to it. She's just more of this little thing comparatively to what other things we've done in the past feels like really small, but she kind of knows like why it's really important. So she's kind of got the nerves of that kicking in more than the specific driving moment. As she's pulling into the drive-through, kind of just waiting for the next car ahead, kind of feels weird that we've done a lot bigger stuff at this point. This feels really important, but also feels like nothing comparatively.
Risk and reward is all relative.
I'll get a number one. She just orders whatever's first on the menu and kind of just pulls ahead to pick up the food as they're driving to the hotel. So just kind of, you feeling good? You feeling all right?
I'm doing much better today than I was yesterday.
A rough time yesterday?
A wee bit.
As they're kind of sitting at a red light for a moment, just waiting for it to turn green, Patty says, I'm not exactly the easiest to talk to about some shit, but I've heard I can be a decent ear sometimes.
Okay.
We're going to be stuck with each other at least for a good minute, so, kind of gonna have to lean on each other sometimes, besides just not getting shot.
Yesterday was reminding me of a lot of things I try not to think.
A lot of regrets.
Some days they hit me worse than others.
Yeah. Kind of why I go to the gym. Helps push that shit out and just kind of kind of a release of that shit, because otherwise I'm gonna just drink myself to death, you know?
Yeah, there's lots of ways to get there. That's one option.
Yeah, well, at this point, you got me through thick and thin of bullet fire and fucking rescue emergencies, so, you know. And she kind of just elbows her a little hard on the shoulder just to say, like, you got me.
I definitely feel less alone these days. So thank you.
No problem. And Patty doesn't say anything else at that point, just kind of just sits in the silence as they're passing through street after street, turning left, right, until they eventually pull up to the hotel and just get the food. Patty just puts in the code, and as it opens up, just sets it down in the hotel for Sabine and Troy, and just checks on Troy before they go. You good, Troy? You need anything? You gonna need a break on shifts after this little run?
I do not require breaks.
No, but it's good to have a mental break, you know, take some time for yourself.
My time with Sabine has been somewhat of a mental break.
You know, fair. You know, if you need anything, talk to Krill for at least a little bit, but then after that, you can hit me up. You just kind of pats him on the shoulder and just nods towards of me and says, "Food's right there." I think it's like 2 burritos, hash brown. I don't know why they put hash brown. It's like a breakfast morning menu, lunch thing, you know, brunch. Yeah, there you go. But we'll see you after, and just kind of walks out.
As soon as Patty had walked out of the car, Karen had gotten out the mask and started cutting out the little pieces, starting to apply them one at a time. Bit of spirit gum.
Give me a craft roll.
Zero. I will be compelling that. My main aspect would work. I know how to take care of me. I've done this before. This isn't my first rodeo. I've had to apply my own facial prosthetics before.
Okay, it's good enough.
Patting down the last of the cheeks. Start applying some generalized makeup. This I'm used to. I do this. Covering it up. Patty walks back out.
That shit's fucking uncanny.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it?
Is that the voice you're going with for this?
Maybe.
Not gonna lie, that makes me want to stab my eardrums out.
Yeah, I don't want you to remember or want to remember me.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Starts the car again, pulls off towards A2B, and just starts rolling. Yeah, I'll make another one. That's a -2. That'd be a -1. I think we're just gonna hold on to the fate point here and just acknowledge it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride. Traffic starts getting a little thicker as people are coming in and out of lunch hour, and just Patty isn't having as good of a time in this drive. She's very much trying to not like kill someone, and then she like does roll down the window, says "fuck you" at one point to one guy as they're turning right, and he just cuts them off as
Fuck
he
you
goes on,
too.
like, the farther left ride, and just kind of just slowly, eventually making towards the way towards A to B. Just a little more agitated at this point. Just I fucking hate driving sometimes, and does manage to get into a parking spot.
Take a mental stress.
Yeah, 1 mental stress. Got it. And after that, she pulls in, kills the engine, says, "All right, it's all you from here. Just got a code just in case shit goes sideways."
Peanut brittle.
Peanut brittle. Got it. And just opens up the door for her. As she steps out, she gives that kind of mean mug bodyguard look and just opens it up, saying, "Here you go, Miss Jackson."
Thank you. Now get back in the car.
Slides back in the car.
Karen heads on in. Trying to be as precise at 1:15 as possible.
As you walk through the front doors of A to B, the same pressurized reception area greets you, and the scent washes over you. As you walk up, give me a roll.
+2.
You immediately recognize from your previous visit the young woman working the front desk. Her name was Isabella. As you approach the front desk, she looks up, sees you, greets you, and goes, "Hi, welcome to A2B. How may I assist you this afternoon?"
Hi, I have a meeting.
Okay.
It's with Elise.
Okay. What is your name?
Stacy.
Stacy Jackson. Jackson.
Yeah.
I have you here as a 115 for Mr. Bayette. Are you supposed to?
Bayette works great. That's even better. Thank you.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, it looks like you're, and she glances at her watch. Right on time. Let me go ahead and get you upstairs. And I'll get you handed off to Ms. Montag. She's Mr. Bayette's administrative assistant. And we'll get you handed off to her. And yeah, so if you just want to step around here, this behind the desk, we'll just use the employee entrance back here, and I'll get you upstairs.
Thank you. And remind me, what's your name again?
Isabel.
Isabel. Thank you.
Okay, and she opens the door behind the counter, basically, that leads to that back area that you guys sort of bypassed when you first came in. You went up the stairs, but she walks you back through some of the work area, and there's a few people at desks, not many. There seem to be more desks than people. And she walks you back and just takes you out like into the sort of back corridor that you've seen before, and walks you up the stairs and into the sort of administrative suite, and walks up. And as she's walking up, you can see that Elise glances up, and Isabel just says, "Mr. Bayette's 115, Miss Montag." And she, "Thank you, Isabel." And Elise pops up and walks out from behind her desk and greets you. She reaches out to shake your hand.
Oh, a pleasure.
Lovely to meet you. Miss Jackson, was it?
Yes.
Oh, can I, Mr. Bayette should be with you in a moment. Can I get you anything? Water, juice, tea, coffee?
A spot of coffee would be great. Just black.
Lovely, lovely. I'll get that right on for you. If you just want to have a seat right here, I'm sure Mr. Bayette will be with you momentarily.
You're a treat. Thank you.
Give me a roll.
Zero.
It could be that Elise is just a professional and she's just in a professional mode. She's forward facing. She's talking to a vendor who doesn't necessarily rank the same as a potential client. But despite all the pleasantries, you get just a sense that either she doesn't like you, she doesn't approve of you, or you're just lesser than because you're a vendor. You're not sure which, where, why sort of situation, but despite all of the pleasantries, you get a distinct feeling that you're beneath her. Yeah. But she goes off as sort of a communal area that the administrative suites share, and she very quickly gets just a cup going and comes back with a cup of coffee on a saucer and hands it off to you. And she goes, "Here you go, Miss Jackson."
Oh, much obliged.
You're welcome.
A treat.
And she just goes and sits down back at her desk. And yeah, looks over a couple of things, and I'm sure he'll be with you momentarily. Just,
Karen checks the time. What is it currently?
1:14.
Perfect.
Elise is sitting there working at her desk. Just an occasional tap of keys, shuffle of paperwork. You can tell that, well, I don't know. Tell me what you're doing.
So I can mostly see her and a little bit of like the shared communal area, I'm guessing.
You could see the way you're seated, the way the chairs right there and her desk. You can basically see, you can see the accountant's office. You could see the GM's office. You can see that sort of communal area, and you can see the front of Gavin's office, although, that's closed. It's glass out. So yeah.
Kind of keeping an eye on Gavin's for sure. Like that is where she keeps bringing her eyes back to, but then just kind of keeping an eye out for everyone else. Who else can she see, kind of thing, and what they're up to.
Okay. Elise is, every time you come back, Elise somehow, she seems to have an uncanny ability to just be typing and working papers and still keeping an eye on you. That she just is very meticulously and methodically rotating between tasks, that it's, 2.5 seconds, 1.5 seconds, 3/4 of a second at you, 2.5 seconds, 1.5 seconds, 3/4 of a second at you, that she's literally just meticulously rotating between tasks, and that you are one of those tasks.
Okay.
This goes on for 52 seconds, and Elise stands up and she goes, "Mr. Bayette, we'll see you now."
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
She opens the door for you as you approach, and just looks at you and goes, "Would you like me to take your cup of coffee? Are you finished with it?"
I think I'll finish it up in here. That'd be great. Thank you.
Lovely. Mr. Bayette, I Miss Stacy Jackson. She's apparently the vendor that Sabine made an appointment for. Standing in the office, gets up. Oh, lovely, lovely, Elise. Thank you. And Elise closes the door as you enter the office. And he comes out from behind the desk and greets you and puts his hand out and says, Ms. Jackson, is it?
Yes, Stacy, you can call me Stace, or C if you like me enough.
Ah, okay. Stacy, we'll keep it at Stacy for now.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well, I have to admit, Ms. Jackson, and he gestures to a chair for you to have a seat. And he goes back around his desk and he just sort of, I admit I'm sort of at a loss here. I know that Sabine, my general manager, apparently put this on the books with Elise, and that you are a vendor of some sort that could aid my business in some way. So could you possibly tell me in what way could you assist this business?
Well, to put it bluntly, I have been trying to get a hold of you, and having a secure conversation with someone such as yourself has been rather difficult, as I've come to find. Now, I take it that this is a private room. Is it just us here listening?
I presume. I mean, Ms. Montag is outside the room, but I do believe we're the only two people in here. Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that the things we talk about can be kept between just the two of us and not have anybody, keeping an ear in on things.
Give me a roll.
Zero. Yeah, I'm thinking I might invoke my high concept. Thief finds an entrance, a grifter makes an entrance.
Okay, well,
I'm not sure what I'm rolling for, so I'm hoping
you're rolling either a notice or an investigate.
Okay.
I think it's more notice.
As
If you said the right words, I'd switch it over to rapport. But right now you're sitting at notice.
Okay. Yeah.
does Karen have this comm open, or is she just private right now?
It's two-way.
Okay. Patty will send a message to Troy and say, can you quickly check if there's any recorded conversations or other people listening in on where she's at? Can you just do a quick check for that?
Have we informed Troy about the device that we have given to Karen?
No, we
okay.
have not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also no guarantee that he could connect through it, being that it's just a camera and it's very far away from its source drone.
We've established he can, as long as it's a wireless signal, that he can hop through it at least.
Yes. But no one's told Troy, as far as we're aware, that you guys gave Karen a wireless camera.
Now, I will point out, I'll be kind here. I will point out that you have occupied this building before.
I'm aware.
Okay.
So
So, yes. Establishing I suppose we can, at the very least, use Troy's prior experience with this building to build up some inherent knowledge of where things might be, at the very least. Troy, having had been there, might know that there is some potential networks and stuff, or might know where to go to look for that. So Troy, at the very least, having an idea that they're at least there, we'll go through the networks and stuff over the hardware network to start probing around.
Okay, give me 1 sec while you do that. All right, so I have some stuff to do then.
You just got some shit set up.
Yeah, it's just there's stuff. All right. Okay. And then that cancels that, and that is that. Okay. Not quite.
Oh my god.
It's time to do. No. Let's see. Okay, I can use. So, I need to consult. Troy, I need you to describe once again what it actually looks like when you go into the net, physically from the outside of your body, not the internal. What happens to Troy in the moment that your consciousness leaves your fucking body and goes out into the net?
So, from anyone standing or observing Troy right now, he's in the corner of the hotel room where he and Sabine are staying. He was already kind of facing Sabine and keeping an eye on her. Sabine, actually, there's not a whole lot that would be immediately readily noticeable, as Troy was already kind of just standing there.
But if I recall, you have subset servos that are designed to sort of mimic the subtle human motions that lock off when you're net diving.
So all the little subtle motions are gone from Troy's. Basically what I'm saying is he was already there standing relatively still, and now he's even more still and statuesque now.
Okay.
What?
So as you hop into the net and you fly through the network layer, just jumping from device to device, and this ever-imposing playground that Troy occupies at this time, zipping over to the A2B structure. How do you find your way into this building? What is your sequence of events? What are you looking for? What are you doing as you hop around the hardware layer?
He already knows whereabouts Karen should be, since he's already been made aware of the meeting at the very least and the time.
Okay.
It's 8B and it's 1:15. He has a familiarity with the network surrounding the building. He knows that where the vulnerabilities are because he's been through there. In this particular instant, he doesn't need to modify the camera feeds, but he can just hop between the various camera feeds one at a time, zip, 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 until he finds somewhere close to where Karen is. Perhaps he can maybe see through a window or something.
Well, see, the way that Troy works in this regard is if there's a wireless signal, or once you're on a wired network, it's sort of it's sort of like knowing where your fingers are. It's a kinesthetic sort of sense for Troy. You feel. Troy feels that there's a device there. Troy feels in a connected wired network that there's devices here and there and there and here, and he can just sort of feel and sense and go where that is, right? He just wills in the same way that we lift our hand. It's not a conscious thing, it's just you do that. So when you're on this network, Troy, you've been here before, and you're aware of this sort of like secured, like black box area of shipping that you didn't investigate before, but there's a giant like space of something there that's walled off to your immediate connection. You've got all of these cameras and all of these computer systems and all of these codices that are now present in this localized network that weren't necessarily on or were present even. And the sort of the difference between, lifting your hand and lifting your leg, that you feel that sensation of weight and heaviness. When you reach out into the network, there is something heavier here now. There's something bigger here now.
There's more devices active, I guess. So they asked Troy, is there any kind of listening device that he can detect inside of their office, right?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just Troy's reaching out and feeling. Is there something on the network that he can access here? That might be that would enable him to maybe, besides, her own thing, actually technically Troy doesn't know that yet.
He knows she has the comm.
The comm. But is there something on this network that Troy can reach out to that
his consciousness can slip into?
Or he might be able to feel is transmitting audio from this room?
Give me, okay, first decide if you're going to look or whether you're going to jump.
I'm going to look.
Yes, there is.
I see what you're doing. What does Troy see? There.
Something familiar.
Okay. Troy is going to jump into the familiar thing.
Give me a roll.
All right. That is a 0.
As you jump into this familiar thing, you get the distinct sensation that you're pushing something aside. That it wasn't your normal hop from dumb hardware to dumb hardware, but that when you entered this space, that you got the sensation of literally pushing something out of the way. You now find yourself in a body looking at Karen.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Wow, I've made a... Well,
Karen, in the moment that this occurs, Gavin Bayet's speech pattern ceases and just stops in mid-sentence. Well, that...
the body that is sitting in front of Karen right now just suddenly begins looking side to side and states, "This is not what I expected." You see his hand lift, and you see his hand just suddenly lift up, and then he looks over to it and he goes, I have made a grave mistake.
Does the voice sound like Gavin?
Yes.
Okay. Are you Gavin? You're not Gavin, are you?
Was Troy made aware of Karen's disguise?
No, because Troy was not. I'm sorry. Patty was the one who dropped the food. No.
Yeah, there's details about Troy, about the plan that was not relayed to Troy.
Yep.
And I don't think Troy realized he's looking at Karen.
So you are looking at some short
complete
redhead with different face than Karen.
Is Karen speaking the same voice though?
No, she's doing.
She's doing her disguise.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're sticking with the voice here.
Immediately, Troy puts the hand down and breaks contact with Gavin.
Where do you go? What do you do?
Troy immediately returns. Troy just begins to feel around the local network and stuff.
Okay.
He's not occupying any devices in particular right now, and he is
Literally just on the constant move.
on the constant move.
Okay. Where anywhere in particular that you're hopping as soon as you're out of that body?
At first, it's the local camera networks and stuff. Just keeping an eye out for things,
Okay.
an eye out for movement.
Then, I'm sorry about that, Miss Jackson. I haven't been feeling well recently, and that just, something just came over me. I apologize. Very unprofessional of me.
Are you sure you're all right? You kind of blacked out there for a second. I was talking to you. You didn't say anything.
Episode, just, you know how it is. Overworked and possibly overdrank.
I've definitely been there.
Oh, yes. I know it's a bit early, but would you like a sip, a little nip?
Depends on what you have.
I'm sure we can find something out of the liquor cabinet. And he gets up. He walks over to the liquor cabinet and pulls out.
What's on his desk?
Not much, really. It's a pretty empty desk. There is a terminal. He doesn't even have a nameplate would be cliched. He's got a Newton's cradle. He's got a pen. He's got a terminal. And he's got like a leather topper to the desk. Really, it's really bare. Yeah. He's got, there is a thing behind him, sort of a credenza sort of situation behind the desk. But yeah, it's a very sparse desk. He gets up and he said, well, I've got some gin, I've got some tequila, I've got some scotch. Suppose we,
Well, if we're gonna do something, you gotta do it right. You gotta do the scotch.
All right. And he takes out 2 tumblers and pours some scotch and hands you a crystal tumbler, 2 fingers worth of scotch in it. Generous pour for the size of the glass. And he just reaches over to you and, clinks glasses with you. Just a little tap. He's like, to health. And he takes a sip.
As they're drinking, Patty will just send a quick message to Troy and says, "Update?" ?
You get a bit of a surprisingly quick reply from Troy, stating, Gavin is currently speaking with an unknown woman. I cannot locate Karen.
Aaron's disguised, period.
She should be. Oh. I have made the connection now. I was looking at Karen.
You were looking at Karen?
You asked me to find devices on the network that may be potential comm hazards to their meeting. I found Gavin is a listening device.
I just sent that immediately to Karen. Gavin is a listening device.
And as Karen hears that, she starts nodding along with what Gavin's saying.
Well, I mean, now that I've collected myself a bit, maybe you could go further into detail as to, some of the services that you purvey.
Well, the kind of services I purvey are very wide-ranging. I usually like to help, get a little thing moved here and there. But I'm mostly interested in speaking with you specifically, my friend. You, Mr. Gavin. This is your establishment here, yes?
Yes, as founded by my father, yes, but unfortunately he passed and now helmed by me.
Great. I want to make sure about long-term plans. You're not exactly a spring chicken. I know, neither am I. But I plan on kicking around for as long as I can. But what are your plans for the long term with here? Well, what's your exit plan?
Oh, well, I mean, as such, I have no particular exit plan currently. I plan to continue to grow the business, I suppose, overseas. I've made inroads within overseas distribution markets. Of course, this will always remain the, crown jewel of the enterprise as we go multi-arcology, but I think that's probably my goal, is to grow the business to the point where, I don't know, it's something that I know my father could be proud of.
That's so noble and honorable of you. I'm sure he is greatly proud. How could he not be? I mean, look at it. Now, part of my issue with talking to you, Gavin, is it always seemed like there was this little tag along who always was just sitting outside of earshot, and I always felt like he wasn't quite exactly out of earshot. So wonderful to have just you and me speaking. Now, I would maybe wonder if there's more you'd like to discuss, specifically without your little friend around.
I mean, I don't necessarily know who you're referring to. Ms. Montag is an indispensable member of my team and often found by my side. But yes, anything that you wish to discuss, we can discuss.
Suppose I'm more referring to your little bodyguard friend.
Oh, Perry. No, Perry during the business day busies himself. He relaxes. He does some martial arts in the spa in the facility. I suppose you could probably, and he points out the window, like right down there. It's the company spa and gym center. If you do become a vendor, I'm sure we can possibly arrange for you to avail yourself of it if you find yourself in town or in the building.
Damn. All right. Well, interesting. Well, I would like to offer something to you specifically, because I know there's been some difficulty with some people trying to have these private conversations and to make sure they're private. I may be able to provide something to give you that means of communication if that's what you'd like. A certain friend of mine has also been trying to get a hold of you. You had dinner with her the other day. It was great.
Well, personalized services are always welcome. I was under the impression that this was a meeting for the, as a vendor for the company, but if you have, I'm not above a little indulgence for president and CEO of a business. If there's some individualized service that you're providing, I suppose I don't mind investigating such.
Possibly, yes. You see, my friend here, do you want to stay working in this business? Do you like it here? Do you want this?
That was legitimately creepy, more than anything else. I absolutely adore working in the business that my father established. It brings me nothing but pleasure and pride. Remember, I know you don't like to, but you always can.
Yeah.
I just send one message to Karen that she can see on her codex. Do we pretend we don't know he's listening device?
I can hear you if you talk at me.
No, I send it as a message. Just, I don't say anything.
Yeah, but what she's saying is she's not.
Oh,
I don't have my codex right here.
okay. Got it. Cool.
So Karen, you hear in your ear, ding.
Yeah. Okay. I realize that, and then I say that. Just, yeah.
You say it again, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do we pretend we don't know he's a listening device?
Yeah. You know, I do wonder some things.
You know, I think Karen will do that role. I think Karen would want to do that role.
Okay. Do that roll.
Hey, +1.
Give me
Like a 3.
Give me one. You've got teammates speaking to you, and before I finish my sentence, I'm gonna.
Well, it's already a +3, right? Because it's a 2, right? Notice or investigate. They're both a 2.
There are 3 different roles I could apply in this situation. I will ask you to choose investigate, lore, or notice. And then you can decide whether you want to fate point it.
Patty just says, "You're a maid grifter at this point. You know how to make an entrance."
Yes. And Aspen is deciding which one of the 3 would allow that specific aspect to roll here. I think lore would fill it. Okay.
I wish Krill was seeing any of this. She happens to have an expertise.
You're connected.
No, because
to the
they
top.
specifically said don't connect. Don't make a wire back to the base.
Right.
No. What Patty told you was don't too much.
Okay. Can we roll to see if Krill clicks in the last while?
Go for it. If you want to just flip a coin or something, it's up to you. You could narratively decide that. You could leave that up to chance. You could whatever.
It's fucking 0 on the die.
Just click in. It's easy. Just click in.
Okay.
I mean,
Krill.
yeah.
I'm more trying to see if Krill watched him freeze for a fucking moment there and change all over.
Oh, yeah,
Probably-
you wouldn't have seen that.
No, but you can probably have clicked in like in the last bit, and you can hear Patty saying, "Do you reveal that do we pretend that we don't know he's a listening device? You're a grifter. You can make your entrance."
You know what? You're right.
You're picking up
You're
on
right.
that.
She has access to those messages, absolutely.
No, she might have been watching the feed too. I don't know. Yeah. I was just thinking the camera.
I was just trying to roll to see if she was watching the feed at the right time. I'm going to take a 0 as a negative.
Okay.
I know that adds a... So, but she does see that. Troy? What do you mean they're a listening device? What did you see?
I was able to access and control Gavin's body. His cybernetics
entire body?
His entire body. His cybernetics are connected to the network.
Okay. Now, how much of a lore roll do I need to look up about personal duplicates for work?
I fucking knew that's where we're gonna go.
Give me one.
Can I get like advantage because of my background or anything like that?
We'll see.
Damn it. Okay, now I can think of it.
Fuck's sake! I'm taking a fate point. I am creation and destruction. I know all the fucking dumb shit out there that people have made to create for the simplest of reasons. Ah!
It's better than the other one.
Karen.
Still a 0.
We'll parallel track this. Karen, did you decide, Aspen?
Lore.
Okay.
And no, I thought that was mine because Karen pays attention to things
Did you?
out in the world
Okay, so you
that
fate pointed
would be
this.
a pool. Yes. Yeah.
Two things. Gavin offended the waiter at Cetabella by drinking his scotch with ice. And he consistently referred to his father as Daddy every time he told the tale over dinner.
Oh. Okay. He's always running that because he's a fucking kid.
Krill. You don't have any immediate knowledge, but if you'd like to investigate on the fly, you can.
Oh, absolutely. Krill goes, if humans make bots for porn, What do they use bot styles for?
You readily find, using the keywords business, body double, android, you find a company that produces an android called Simulacrum, which is commonly used by CEOs and C-suite executives to do things like public speaking events, banquets, events that they don't necessarily want to go to, and they don't need a perfect replicant for. They are it is a device that is possible to be puppeted remotely, as well as has a basic scan personality download of its of who they're supposed to be replicating. It's not a one-to-one. It's not perfectly accurate, but it'll do when they have to shake the hand and, shake the hand of some douchebag they don't want to talk to and, go out to some sort of like awards dinner that is just beneath them. But it would be bad press if they didn't show up sort of situation.
She digs further. Does the bot have any functions in which when it meets an environment and is unrecognizable to it, does it ping for manual override, like to be puppeted purposely?
You're going to have to give me another roll to go find and download the user manual.
Can you use investigate?
Yes, you may.
Fuck!
What do you get it? What
That is a 0.
Yeah, it is.
Oof. It's okay. That's fine. We don't need the user manual right now.
Krill realizes she's on a back forum that's only found her one from like 4 years ago. It's like, well, that's not fucking useful. Karen, give me a bit of time. I might be able to help you out, but can't guarantee. Because Krill just spends the next while looking for that further.
So Karen,
Oh, and that's not Gavin.
Yeah, we're aware.
Okay, just making sure.
Cool.
It's called the simulacrum.
Well, Mr. Bayet, how can I explain this? I have an offer for you. I have, let's say, a possibility of of something someone might be able to say is an out. Now, I'm coming to understand a little more of, I think, what might be going on in your particular situation. It's possible. And I think...
And Karen pulls out the codex and slides that across the table.
Now, I know that this beautiful being before me, Mr. Bayet, this beautiful visage, they may not be the one who'd be interested in this thing I have to offer. But I think you might be interested.
well, I thank you for this rather confusing offer. And I suppose I'll hang on to this. Will I be invoiced?
Oh no, that's definitely on the house. But when you're alone, have some time, maybe want to chit-chat about maybe seeing about other options on the horizon. Might be able to help you with those sorts of things. Specifically, if you want to keep it on the down low, as the kids say these days, right?
Well, I suppose thank you very much. And he takes out, he just drawer. Thank you very much, Miss Jackson. It's been lovely meeting with you. Is there anything else I may do for you?
Have some fun for me.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much, Miss Jackson. Elise. Elise opens the door. Yes. If you could see Ms. Jackson out, that would be lovely. Again, thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Always pleasure dealing with wonderful people.
Likewise. Elise just sort of, motions for you to follow her, and
Karen heads on out.
closes the door behind you, and she escorts you back down the stairs, out the sales area, out the front desk, and says, well, I hope your meeting with Mr. Bayette was productive today, and if you need anything, you can call our main headquarters number and ask for myself, or and I'll direct you as best I can.
All right, I'll hold you to that, Elise.
Oh, lovely. There's a microsecond. Just as a con, you catch it. When she says that lovely, it's like, I will slit my wrist. Yeah. Yeah. And she turns and heads back in, and you maybe hear just a as she shuffles off. Troy, what are you doing?
Troy is just for the now, just continuing to hop around the network.
Okay.
Now he is aware that this strange lady is a disguised Karen. He's keeping a good surveillance on her as she is walking out.
No one seems to be following her. Perry seems to be staying put. He's not coming out of the spa. Karen exits the building to, I presume, awaiting Patty.
Door opens up, lets her in, puts the key in the ignition, pulls out, and gives it like a good 2 minutes as they're heading into traffic, and then she pulls down her sunglasses like, what the fuck is going on there?
Holy shit, right?
Is that like Gavin making a copy of himself for a business work, or did he get kidnapped and they're running someone in his place?
I mean, so, here's the thing. I mean, I've heard of people having like a swap that they don't actually have to show up to work. They could be on vacation while they do it. He still calls his dad Daddy.
And he didn't there? Okay. So, more than likely, someone's replaced them.
They're replaced, or I see. Here's the thing. I think he's a kid. I think Gavin is a kid.
Like a child running a body?
He has a adult body to go run the business while he himself is a child.
So they basically are putting him out until he's old enough to do the business.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't... Would he run it himself, or is it somebody who did it for him?
Oh, I'm sure it's just like the squires of old.
Okay, but like...
Somebody else is running that ship.
Okay. So, if that's that, and then Troy was able to check if did he get into it at all, or did he just see that it was a listening device?
Oh, it felt like Troy hopped right into that there body. Sure looked like it. Talked to somebody. Sure didn't seem like Gavin remembered, so...
Patty just opens up the comms to Troy and says, okay, tell us what exactly you did when you got there.
I accessed the network in much in the same way I did our first go around in this building. I was looking for devices that may be transmitting data, or suspicious devices that may be transmitting data inside the room presumably Karen was supposed to be in.
Did you take control of Gavin?
Contextual clues seems to point in that direction. I experienced something similar to the time when I have taken over Rill's drones.
Was there a feed reading back, like sending out from the Gavin?
It was on the network. It was constantly sending and receiving data. I did not read any of this data, and as soon as I realized my mistake, I hopped out of this device immediately to avoid potential suspicion.
Addie doesn't say anything immediately, but she looks at Karen and says, do we want Troy to follow that feed? Do we want to see where it may be going?
Oh, we need to know where it's going.
Okay, so I'll drop you off. I'm going to take over for Troy, and then he can do what he needs to do.
Beautiful.
Okay. Patty keeps the comm on and says, Troy, you're going to get relieved about 30 minutes. And just picks it up a little bit just to try and get things moving a little faster as she goes to the base to drop Karen off. And then just immediately turns towards heading to Troy.
Give me a driving check.
Yep. That's a +1.
Okay. So, and that, yeah, that's a +2 in total.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're doing pretty okay on the driving. Troy, are you spending all this time in the net? What are you doing?
Well, I think just because of the amount of time that's passed, it would be a good idea to go back and check on Sabine.
Okay.
From Sabine's perspective, he just saw this thing that was holding still, and then when Troy returns to his body, his joints unlock, and there's always a bit of a twitch when his joints sort of need to reorient themselves and rebalance and begin their little stimulations again. So just suddenly, Troy was perfectly still, and then suddenly he just goes like that, and now he begins looking around the room. Sabine still there?
No.
Well, yeah.
There is a note card on the bed. The bed has been made, and the note card just has Karen's name on it.
Karen's full name, or
Just Karen.
just the word Karen?
Yep.
Troy picks up the note card.
Inside are coordinates and the 3 p.m.
Uh-oh. Invisible guy.
What are the coordinates?
The coordinates are just on the northwest side of Central Terminal. They map to a literal street corner.
You got all three of you get a message from Troy that states, we may have further complications.
And that time is closing fast.
Yes.
You have, all things considered, you have about an hour.
Troy states, Unfortunately, I had to stop monitoring the status of Sabine in order to facilitate your requests on the network. It seems in this time Sabine has left us. I have here a note with coordinations to a street corner near the central terminal for a meeting time at 3 p.m.
Patty's just sitting in the car. She's sitting in the traffic at a red light, and she's like, "Fuck it."
Just banging the fucking steering wheel. Just
Yeah.
fuck.
Weren't we aware of the whole reason of that safe house being a safe house was because there was a very stealthy, infiltrated person coming after Sabine?
Unfortunately, I could not monitor Sabine at the same time and access the networks. Those functions are very limited.
Cool. Patty picked me up.
Patty is just
Krill,
outside of the hotel and like says to Troy, "Let's go," and she's waiting.
On Krill's side, she slaps down, snips plasma cannons, her new claw thingy that never got used, some scrap metal, and she starts building a weapon.
As soon as
You said to Troy, right, Patty?
she's outside of the hotel, she's like, "Let's go."
Okay. Troy,
Safe
it's the safe house, yeah. Troy gets into the car with Patty.
Pulls off, just immediately heads towards the base to basically drop him off and pick up Karen and Krill. Just as soon as she gets back, she's like, "All right, let's go, let's go."
Troy, check yourself if she put anything on you.
Along with a low level or high level diagnostics, Troy just looks over at himself and see if there is anything planted on him.
Give me a roll.
Okay. That is a 0.
No.
I do not seem to have been tampered with in any way that I can detect.
Patty, can you look him over one more time?
Stop at a red light. She quickly just tries to scan and opens up her eyes to see if there's anything that's she can read that produces any digital like feed that is alternative to him. Like just a little bit of the digital knowledge she has. She's just trying to get a scan of him and see if there's anything foreign to him in this moment.
Give me a roll.
Okay. That's a +2.
You see nothing outside of what you've seen before.
I got nothing. No foreign bodies, no alternate feed systems. It's just him. And then the car pulls off as the green turns, and she's pulling outside of the base now. Actually, she stops a half a block away. She doesn't pull up directly to the base. I'm half a block away. Get in. We're going.
You see a couple of hippies kind of like make way, freaking out, as you see Krill walking around the corner, underslung a huge fuck off piece of metal that kind of looks like a crab claw, but she's holding it with 2 hands with a huge power cable going into a backpack on her. And she's just looking pissed. Opens the door and sits in the back.
Troy, dear, you've been working on base defenses. How locked down can it be right now?
Physically, there is only the ray shield in front of the main entrance, and I can lock the garage door.
Just make sure the digital side's completely protected.
The digital side has the best protection that I was capable of providing. It is currently untested, but it was made with some knowledge of Netrunner capabilities in mind.
Do we want him to be our eyes in the sky, or do we want him to protect the base? Like, because I don't want him directed to too many things and fuck them both.
Just keep a monitor on the base for a change. If a change happens, have it ping you. Sure, the base systems can do that. If there's a change in something, a door opens, something shuts off.
Yes, it can.
I've instructed the base motion sensors and cameras to inform me if there are any changes within.
Thank you. It's better than nothing.
Goddamn fucking. Okay, now we have to read every single person we interact with to see if they're a fucking robot. Okay, and pulls out of the spot that she's in, and just starts heading towards the fucking terminal, the central terminal. Just start driving, probably getting within a half a block distance, at least. As they get closer to that half block, she's like, do you want me to be within 100 feet, 200, half a block? What do you want?
I think you should be right next to me.
Okay. Just pulls closer, as close as she can, to where she can eventually get a decent parking spot and basically be able to immediately pull out if they are in the car. Be like, right. Krill, stay in the spot closest to where she'll be meeting, just in case you need to pop out and shoot a fucker. Troy, I want you to get in the driver's seat so we can be ready to pull immediately.
You're muted, Krill.
Wouldn't it be better if I just found a rooftop to get onto?
We don't want you getting held behind.
If we need to leave quickly,
Okay.
We don't leave a soldier behind here. Okay. As they pull up to this spot, what time is it?
2:50.
Addie is just quickly doing a 360 view of the entire place, see if she sees Sabine or sees anybody near the spot, or sitting, if she can like lean out looking at through the window to see if there's anybody on any like higher angles.
This is a very busy area, especially since it is more adjacent to the sort of the higher end commerce side of the central terminal. There are people coming and going. Traffic is busy. If you stop for any like significant amount of time, horns start blaring. There's not much parking around this area, to be quite frank. The coordinates are quite literally a street corner. In and around that area, there's plenty of buildings. There are plenty of tunnels. There are plenty of ramps, on ramps, off ramps, and you're right by Central Terminal.
Addie pulls out the only 2 tear gas that she was able to grab in that moment because they were in a row. She hands one to Karen, just in case, and clicks the other onto her belt.
it's tear gas? Sorry.
Yeah.
Bugged.
It need enough of a distance between us and the car so we don't get any visuals as we're running in case.
Given that you can't just park a car around here, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Troy,
9 minutes.
Okay, Troy, just try and keep a circle going. Just try and keep moving on the vehicle. I'm going to stick with Karen. Do we want to pull the car farther away? It's going to be more of a run, but having a secure spot to store so Troy can use the tech and the weapon just in case.
Troy, pull around. If you have to go a few blocks away to find a parking spot, find one, but try not to go more than 2 or 3 blocks.
I understand. Troy,
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a +4.
Nice.
The parking gods look upon us.
You find a parking spot just opens up just maybe 50 feet away from them.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, there went our good roll for the day.
Yep. Hey, I'll take it.
I had none earlier, so yeah, I'll take it.
Easy exfiltration. That's all we need.
Is there anything that you would like to narrate, do, situate, establish?
Do you want me to be right on your shoulder? Or do you want me to be a little bit of a distance?
Okay, this is Aspen talking for a second.
Mhm.
I am looking to compel something. I'm thinking of that. You can also compel me for giving me a fate point. I'm reminding you of this in the moment. If you want to compel me for some reason to do something, that would give me a fate point.
I definitely know that you know how to take care of yourself. So in this moment, you would probably be right in it. You'd know where to be.
Yes, but what's the compel? A compel is an action based upon an aspect.
Okay. Gotcha.
Easiest one would be, oh, I thought that was mine. You still have at least 2, right, Patty?
I have 3. I haven't used any.
Haven't used any. Okay.
Okay. So in this case, Patty's going to situate herself purposely. She knows what she's doing in this moment, and she's thinking, Karen knows how to take care of herself, but she's going to stick right on her shoulder. She's taking that action on herself, and she's saying, I'm going to stick with you because you know how to keep yourself alive, and keeping yourself alive, especially when you're going to be the one talking in this moment, having a little help there helps.
Are you trying to compel me to do something? Because that's not a compel.
No.
I don't know how to do this.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of things I can do in this moment, and I'm struggling a little bit.
Okay. All right.
3 minutes.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Traffic going by, people just going about their business. No one pays you any attention because this is early afternoon in middle of a transit day on a weekday right by Central Terminal. Nobody's paying you any mind whatsoever that you can see, and just traffic going by, the sounds, the smells.
As we're walking up towards the corner, Karen is picking at the little pieces at the edge of the silicone and peeling them off one by one and putting them into her purse.
Okay. You're kind of left with tiger stripes because you did makeup, right? Like with that.
Yes. I am aware I look ridiculous.
As you walk up to the corner, 3 p.m. rolls around, and promptly a large, black, elegant, mildly stretched vehicle pulls up and stops. Door just in position for Karen, and the driver gets out, walks around, looks at you, and goes, Ms. Karen?
Well, my personal escort will be joining me, I assume.
Probably not.
Patty pulls down her sunglasses and says, I think you should let me go with her. It's good to have someone at your side. And she's very much staring I could shoot you right now if I fucking wanted to, and I'm not in the fucking mood.
Karen's peeking in at the moment, see if there's anybody inside.
You can barely see the silhouette and outline of legs leading up to a torso, sitting in a captain's chair facing backwards, leaving the seat right by the door open for whoever takes it. The driver looks at you, Patty, and goes, now, ma'am. Violence isn't necessary, nor is it recommended.
Karen turns to Patty and goes, if we make a stink, it's a stink, and everyone smells.
And then she just says quietly, if they take you, I'm gonna fucking find you.
We'll do our best. I'm sure you'll be following along as best as you can. And Karen gets in.
As you get in, Karen, give me a roll.
Zero.
Given that this is a lore roll, but it pertains to clothing, I'll give you an advantaged lore roll. So we'll see how this shakes out.
+2.
As you get in, and the driver shuts the door, just as you get into, you see this leg. You see, as you just look up, the personage, right? You see the clothing, the drape of the fabric. You readily identify what is oftentimes standard issue material and cut and color of corpo-associated individuals. What you're looking at is molecularly bonded ballistic weave with silk. So it falls very gently on the person, but will take a pretty good beating. And as you get in and the door shuts, the sound of the outside just whoom, the sound of that heavy door just whoom, and just whoom, and it's quiet in here. And this person turns with 2 champagne flutes at the ready. And she looks at you and goes, new look, I like it. Sitting there facing you is Sabine.
Fucking do it.
She hands you a flute of champagne.
Karen takes it.
Clink. She takes a sip. Now, Karen, don't be bitter. I know you've got questions, and it's only fair. So if you want to ask, I'll answer. The car starts moving in this moment. It's not
Start the engine, Troy.
not speeding away. It's not taking any dramatic maneuvers. It's just gently starting, and you can easily follow it. We cut back to the inside of the car.
Krill is trying to see if she can access the camera on the necklace.
You can.
And audio's coming through fine?
Just fine.
She has it on a hologram for everyone to see through tricks.
Patty's just in the car as she's very much I'm about to shoot this bitch, but I'm having to hold back as she's just following her.
Troy is just
Krill.
accessing the various networks available over this entire wide area. I'm certain in an area like this, there's just gotta be
Yeah, you can just bounce around.
he's practically the guard of Panopticon at this point.
Yes, you can absolutely bounce around.
What? How much do you know?
Well, I suppose that's a contextual question now, isn't it, Karen? I know lots of things about lots of things, and I know very little about lots of things as well. So I suppose we'll have to be more specific than that, shall we?
How much do you know about what A2B really does?
Well, I suppose for that, the answer is everything.
Are you not actually in your position? Are you masquerading in that?
You know, Karen, I know you probably harbor some animosity. I would. But you and I are very similar. Cut from the same cloth. Now, stop me if I'm wrong. Some trauma. Didn't really have anybody to lean on. Streets. Did what was necessary. You know, you turn a trick here or there. You steal here and there. Push comes to shove. You stab and shoot. You know, I think you and I, in another life, could have ended up very similar. But you know where you and I differ? You never had anybody, did you?
No.
You want to hear a story?
Yes.
So one afternoon, a young girl hanging outside High Street, shopping district. Tell me if this one sounds familiar. Watching potential marks come and go. You spot somebody. Maybe this somebody is a older guy, dressed to the nines. You're like, well, there's a payday. So I do what we do. Bump, a dip, a lift, drop, make a corner, check the shoulder. Sound familiar?
Very much.
Except when I checked my shoulder, he was standing right there. It was as if I made no progress whatsoever. No distance. And everything in me said, run. Right? Run. But he was standing there looking at me, amused. And maybe this is hindsight. Disappointed. He looked at me and said I could keep what I stole. But if I wanted to take him up on an offer, he could teach me to steal a lot more. I figured he was just some old creep. Well, you know, right? Like, okay, I go back to his place. He tries to rough me up a little. I do what I gotta do. Take some more stuff. Maybe I come out ahead. Maybe I come out with a black eye or a broken nose, but that's the gamble, right? So I don't listen to my instincts. And I think this is where you and I differed. You would have listened to your instincts, wouldn't you? You would have run.
Usually do.
Yeah. I usually did too. I didn't that day. Turned out he wasn't a creep. suppose in a lot of ways he was a creep, but not towards me at least. He was a lot like us, only with a better bit of an upbringing. He's what they call a security consultant. Of course, I learned that was just fancy corpo speak for paid thief, paid assassin. But he took me under his wing. He taught me how to improve, how to refine, how to play the game that, and she just sort of like looks around. They're playing. He taught me how the big boys steal. So, he gets me a job. Not a fancy job, but a job. I'm pretty good at what I do. So I end up promoted, a team, teams, a department, and then before long, I teach those corpo fuckwits that having a Scully on the pay books is pretty goddamn useful. But the streets don't leave easily, do that?
Don't.
I could be sitting here in these fancy clothes and in this fancy car, but I still insist on doing things myself. And that instinct, that impulse. Well, one day I was in the field monitoring communications. You know, gang members really aren't good at what they try to do. So, to answer your question, in a very roundabout way, I stumble on the communications of a local gang who have got a local businessman under their thumb. And they're using him to transport their, well, unsavory sundries. I figure girl can always use an alternative income. So I, well, did what I learned to do. I performed a bit of a hostile takeover, shall we say.
You've already accomplished it.
Oh yes, ages ago.
So A2B is yours.
Well, certainly not on paper.
It's the best way for it to be yours, after all.
I find that's true, but here's my problem. Somebody shows up on my doorstep. And then I find out that they're sneaking around my house. So,
Fair.
let me ask you a question, Karen. What's your plan? Not here. I think you already know you're at an impasse here. But what's your plan? You running around with this little ragtag group? You finally got over being by yourself? What's the plan? Because that's what my mentor taught me, was how to plan. Not just the next pick, not just the next con, the con after that, and the con after that, and the exit strategy. The plan. What's the plan, Karen?
I suppose the plan up until more recently was survive tomorrow. But that's getting to be a little too narrow. Yes, you're right. I don't have one.
Well, let me tell you about my plan. I find that when too many people start looking into somebody's business, private business, that one always has to have an exit strategy. Loose ends need, well, tying up, as it were. Now, as near as I can see it, you and I have no reason to be, well, enemies, at least. So, where do we go from here, Karen?
I suppose, yes, I am at an impasse. Because you have things I want, and I don't know if I have anything that you would.
Well, tell you what. As far as I see it, we have, well, you have three options, really. Now, before I continue on with my plans, just need a little, just a minuscule, just a speck of information. I have my suspicions, but I need confirmation before I go forward with my plan. As to who's been recently meddling. Now, say that you were to assist in that regard in some way. Now, I know you're reticent to snitch. We can come to some sort of arrangement. Maybe you just don't correct me when I proffer who has been sticking their nose where pornographers don't belong. Now, you could spend however long it is trying to get out from under the thumb of said gangs. Or you could kill two birds with one stone. And now, hear me out on this. I'm not saying we're gonna part gal pals and go shopping on Saturdays. But wouldn't it be nice to have somebody in, say, a position such as mine, who was willing to answer your calls? Something to consider. Something to consider. Now, option 2. we could just go our separate ways and hope we never run into each other again. No hard feelings. This isn't a pressure sale. There's no ticking clock. We could just go our separate ways, and you hope that our paths never cross again. Pretty benign option.
This whole time, Karen has been playing with the ring that the Scullies gave her.
Option 3. Now, I'll warn you, here comes the stick. People like you and I, Karen, we tend to get clever ideas. Now, if you decide to go get a clever idea, try and double-cross me, well, then I'll just have to rain hell down upon you for fucking with my plan. Oh, and not just you, by the way. All of you.
I've got a pretty plan for you right here, bitch.
Addie doesn't say anything, but she will just look in the rearview mirror and give her the eye. Shut the fuck up.
She can't hear me.
No, just looking at Brill because she can get a vibe from her back there.
So, option 3.
I am.
Now, as I said, no pressure. I can give you a burner codex, and you can, with my contact information on it, you can take that contact information, copy it to your device. You can take the codex and ditch it somewhere. Go talk to your compatriots, or make the decision solo, as you always do. Either way, option 1, option 2, or option 3. That's sort of where we are, Karen.
You were really a Scully.
Yes. And yes. She glances down. You see her eyes hit it.
There's not many times I have felt good in this life. But the Scullies, they help me feel good.
They helped me stay alive. That's where our allegiances begin and end. Maybe they'll help you stay alive.
Why should I choose you?
Don't think of it as choosing me. Think of it as choosing you. Think of it as choosing your team.
I'm assuming it's fine if I talk to my friends.
By all means. By all means. Not too long, but take whatever time you need.
Karen leans back a little and looking off to the side now. Well, friends, I think you know what I would lean towards. What do you think?
I would like to deatomize this bitch.
An individual with her level of power and influence could prove useful.
She will do nothing but manipulate us for her ends and never justify anything other than helping us via putting us more in her pocket.
Isn't that what we do?
And that's
we were
different from the other option. How?
At least with the porn star, it seems like you had a repertoire with. This is entirely. We will become her agents. But if it means not dying, I will find a different means of ending this bitch another day.
He hasn't said anything immediately. But as they kind of pull up to a stop, I don't trust her. I think if things weren't what they were, I'd put a bullet in her brain.
Thank you.
Gets us out of immediate debt, more long-term issues we got to deal with, and it lets us get more eyes on the inside for some friends who might want to know some more things.
I would like to remind us we are not in debt of money, we are in debt of favor to her. And she is in fact the leader of a gang and a drug lineup. And probably knows where we live. We need to guarantee safety if we agree to her terms.
How do I put this? Okay.
I trust you. Do what you need to do.
I've already stated what I believe, what I think of the situation. I will follow your lead, whichever way it leads.
I don't like people threatening Karen, but I trust her decision.
Understood. Thank you.
Have we had a productive conference meeting?
That's always interesting to hear what my friends think. They have such interesting minds. And you're right, I will just do what I want. Option 2.
Okay. It's a shame, but okay.
Wait. What is option 2?
Out of character, option 2 was walk away.
Oh, shit.
You meant to say option 1.
3.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, option 3 is the nuclear. That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's
That's the one
happened.
Krill was hoping you would say, but knows it's not the smart idea.
It's a little bit
God damn
moment
it.
from Life is Strange as Karen is realizing what she says, hits the reverse button, goes back 5 seconds.
I mean, option 1. Clearly, option 1. Duh. I mean, why would I choose anything else? It's going to be option 1. Oh, look, words I can read. That helps.
What are dirty bombs?
Sometimes. God damn it.
That was option D, just waiting in the midst.
Can I just, like... Is that option 2? Yes. I find myself indebted to lots of people. I am at the whims of the world around me in many ways. I like your jive more than anyone else's. Cut of your jib, that's the term. Cut of your jib.
Well then. Who do you work for, Karen?
Miss Vivian.
That's all I needed to know.
Now, as my friends have pointed out, what I've just done has put a rather large target on my back. And theirs.
But Karen, my dear, dear Karen, it's about the plan. What if I assure you that when you get back to your base, you will not only be safe, but you will have a message waiting from Miss Vivian thanking you for a job well done.
I don't doubt you. It's impressive, though.
Well, no need to look over your shoulder.
I'm assuming I will be hearing from you even if I don't reach out.
No need. No need. I don't require anything of you, Karen. Well, maybe one thing. When our paths do cross again, have a plan.
Will do.
Oh, quick question. Did I get to the right side of the central terminal?
For what?
Sorry I made you guys drive a little further. Tell Troy when you're trying to avoid a location, it's obvious.
Figured that's what she meant.
Give my love to Patty. I'm sure she'll miss me.
Very much.
Troy, dear, I enjoyed our conversations.
As did I.
As did he.
Very good. She knocks on the glass behind her, and the car just gently pulls to the side of the road. As you get, as the driver gets out and opens the door for you, she looks at you and goes. She pulls out her codex and just swipes her contact details over to you. Don't be a stranger, Karen.
I'll come back with a plan.
It's a good idea.
Well done, Sabine. I'm impressed.
Thank you. She just gives you a wink.
Aaron gets out.
You are right back where you started. You have just been circling the road around Central Terminal this whole time.
Addie pulls up the car as close as she can to Karen and pops open the door, leaning over.
Karen gets in.
Pulls off. Heads out, drives around for a minute, not immediately base, but eventually will circle back after taking a few distances and jumps away. And eventually will come back. Patty hasn't said anything the whole time, but Karen, you can see the knuckles now are not gripping in nervousness, they're gripping in rage, as she's just kind of sitting there in the silence.
Krill, on the other hand, is no longer angry. And she's just kind of shaking a little in the back. Can you not do that again? I don't want any of you to die. I don't really like you guys being in positions where I can't do anything.
Oh, I hate to disappoint. That's definitely going to keep happening.
We built a big gun for nothing.
You'll use it sometime.
Now you have a big gun.
I'm not very good with guns.
I'm sure you'll find a nail one day.
I just was angry and I built this. I'm not very good with guns. So. I'm just glad you're safe.
The only real danger I was in was in the danger I'm always in. I'm living here.
Karen, your codex begins to ring.
Who's calling?
Vivian.
Karen answers it.
Karen, thank you so much for a job well done. I just received the paperwork.
Excellent. I'm glad it worked.
Well, I think you and I can consider each other square. And if you ever need anything, you know where to find me.
I appreciate you for everything you've done for me.
Well, it was a bit of a rough, rocky start of our relationship, I suppose, but you proved yourself a very competent, honorable person. So, I thank you.
Thank you for that.
Till next time.
Sure, you'll be seeing me again. How do I put this? It's an interesting feeling swimming in and out of a shark's mouth. But I'm glad. I think I made the right choice choosing the bigger shark.
More room to swim.
More to eat. More to learn how to eat. Okay. Okay. Y'all want some noodles?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't taste the tequila anymore. But, so yeah, no, I could go for some food. And I'd also really like to not have this gross taste of me.
Then the scene closes with a shot of your backs facing out of Jigu's noodle stall. with beers and bowls of noodles, and we hear the laughter and the chatter of Jigu and your characters as the camera fades to black.